What's the difference between a business plan and a strategic business plan? It's about actions and goals. You know what the difference between a goal and an action is? Okay. A goal is I want to lose 5 pounds. An action is I'm going to eat less and exercise more. Okay. What actions do I need to accomplish that goal? Contingencies. Things will happen. Life happens, right? You will always need contingencies. Some of the best decisions that I've ever made in my business career had nothing to do with the original strategy. They were about contingencies, like hiring Lisa. That was a contingency. My business plan never called for hiring a vice president of sales, but the contingency was I'm going to lose my mind or make some changes. So that's a business plan. World is changing daily, hourly. Gosh, how about social media? You know, even in SCORE, where we're trying to catch up with that learning curve. You know, every time I think I got to figure it out, it changes. You know, I do a lot of Facebook and LinkedIn marketing, and as soon as I figure it out, it changes. Golly, it's just trying to stay educated on this stuff. Educate ourselves in business. Again, you have great resources here. Study the market. You know, one of my mentors in my business career told me as I was looking at business things that were kind of cutting edge or developmental, and he said, you really want to be what I call a good fast follower. And I've always, that was 25 years ago, and I still think about it all the time. And what he meant by that was study the market. If you have a business idea, or you see a trend or something that you like or think would be a successful business, study the marketplace and see who's in there first. So you'll save yourself an awful lot of headache, you'll save yourself a ton of money, but as you see a trend happening, be a really fast follower. So if you follow fast, you can, in most cases, be able to take over the person that did all the hard work developing the trend, and you don't have to create the market, you can fill the market. Very, very good strategy. It's certainly a hell of a lot less expensive stuff. Educate yourself. I'm doing it all the time. I have to. Surround yourself with great people. Take your ego out of it. You know, some of the mistakes that I made in business were always ego-driven. I thought I knew everything, and I was smarter than those guys. Guess what? The best lesson I tell you, I had a catastrophic business failure in 1994. Lost everything. Houses, cars. We were 2 little kids at the time. We lost about $1.5 million in about 18 months. And you know what? It was ego. I was too arrogant, and too stupid, and too smug to take the advice of people that were smarter than I was. Or I hung in too long, and I tried to grind it out, and I was going to show them, and I'll make it, and one day. I made it into the forums. But I'll never make that mistake again.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Are you a firstborn child?
No.
What third? I read a book on third order. It's very interesting.
Third of 7.
Firstborn?
You're not getting any prizes. Like the psych, the media lady.
Yeah, I got to beat that. I'm 9/12.
What is your mission, vision of the company? Does anybody know who Guy Kawasaki is?
Yeah.
Guy Kawasaki was one of the founding members of Apple Computers. And Apple Computers was founded a long time ago, and most of you know the story. But Apple was founded with Guy Kawasaki as one of the original founders, and the story was they had a Volkswagen microbus, and they had this couple of machines that they had built with Apple operating system in there. And they drove back and forth across the United States with a 6-foot folding table in their Volkswagen microbus. And they opened up their table in shopping centers, parking lots, anywhere that somebody would not throw them out and get arrested. And they demonstrated their Apple in parking lots out of a Volkswagen microbus for about 1.5 years before they actually started to catch on. And Guy Kawasaki wrote many books, and he's a motivational speaker. If you ever get a chance to see him, he's brilliant. But he, one of the first books he ever wrote was about the evangelistic approach to running a business. And it wasn't a religious comment. It was about being an evangelist for your business. And that means that you will talk to anybody that will listen to you about your business. And it could be somebody, friends, colleagues, neighbors, business associates, people on the checkout line in Publix. But if you take an evangelistic approach to your business, and that's what this means, I mean everyone will know who you are, what you do, and they may not buy from you today, but they may down the road, or they may tell 4 people. This evangelistic approach is really what's behind Facebook. Because people share information, and we tell people, and we share, 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 and we share. If Facebook was around back then, he probably would have saved himself a lot of wear and tear on the car. Business plan, this is the roadmap. Okay, you have to write it. It doesn't sit on the shelf. It's a working model. It can be changed. It doesn't matter if it's a page or 100, but you have to write the plan. If you can't write it, guess what? You don't understand it. You can't execute it. How the heck is anybody else going to be able to? How are your employees, your staff? If you don't know what you're doing and put it in writing, it's very hard to execute. It doesn't matter what other people think that I was trying to explain to you about Jen and Steve. They wanted to get this done before with other people because they would all have an opinion. There's always going to be a crazy brother-in-law. There's always going to be a mother-in-law who's going to say, "What are you, crazy? You're going to do what? You're going to spend all that money to buy a pizza shop? What are you, crazy?" There will always be somebody that's going to have an others thing. I'll show you a couple of SWOT, a SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. This is Business 101. You have to identify your strengths. Who are we? What are we going to be strong at? What do we have to offer? What are our weaknesses? Nobody wants to think about that. Could we be crushed by a national competitor? What would happen if I opened up an independent and a franchise opened up a half a mile down the street? Those are weaknesses. Is cash, liquid cash, is that a weakness of my business? What are the opportunities? Where are we going to grow? What are the threats to my business? It could be regulatory. If you're in the green industry, or you have a solar company, there's technology changing, you have regulatory issues changing. So you want to do a SWOT analysis in your business plan. Very important. Hiccups happen, they always will. Stay with it, but know when to let go. That's why I lost. I wasn't smart enough to know when to let go. What can I do to have better results? So this is where a business plan, when you evaluate it, you go back and you revisit it quarterly, monthly, whatever time period you choose to, and you pull that down and go, you know what, I forgot. I veered from the path. I'm not executing my business plan. Companies that made it through the recession were all people that A, continue to market, they stay focused, and they actually, when the recession comes out, people that stay the course and hold their market share, when the market shifts and comes down, if you have 15% of the market share and you just maintain as the market shifts, collapses around you, and you maintain your 15%, guess what? When the pie opens back up and the market gets bigger, your 15% becomes 30, 35% if you do nothing else. Just because the market changes. And when you look at a pie chart, you're down in here. The pie goes out further and further and further as the circle gets bigger. It's a great, great visual for you. Failure, I mean, what is failure? If you're not a risk taker, get the hell out of business. Who is that? Ray Kroc. Anybody know who Ray Kroc is? Easy goes. I'll leave you with one last quote, and I'll be happy to stay around and answer any questions. This is from the founder of Atari Gaming, a gentleman named Nolan Bushnell. He said, "Everybody who takes a shower has a brilliant idea. It's the person who gets out of the shower, dries off, and then does something about it who makes all the difference." So I'll challenge you with that. I'm happy to be here. I'll stay around and answer any questions. Thank you all for coming. I try to be like a nearsighted javelin thrower. I may not throw it the farthest, but I hope you paid attention. So with that, I'll leave. Thank you, guys.